like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
What's going on, Cowboy Nation? How are y'all doing today, man? I'm glad to be back home. Got back late Monday and had to get some things done and get back to the grind of things and wanted to come on with you yesterday, but I was just tired, man. Had a very great time in Dallas, man. Beautiful place, man. The Texas Live, the Boss Cowboy told me about the Texas Live, man. I didn't get a chance to get over there to tailgate because we got locked over there to Texas Live, and man, we were just, when you're experiencing different things, man, it's hard when you go into a place like you have never been to a Cowboy game. I've never been to Texas. When you go in, sometimes it's what we call system overload. You got so many things you want to do, so many things you want to see, this and that. And you just find that this is not enough time in the day, but it makes you want to come back. And so I will be back on another, this time a whole lot shorter term. And this time when I do come back, I won't be taking any false steps. And what I mean by that, once you get used to something, you don't take false steps. You understand what's the lay of the land, and you get out there and you get into it, and you don't spend a lot of time with the kind of stuff. What's going on? How you doing? People coming into the room. And I'm just talking about my trip, man. You don't take no false steps. Once you learn the lay of the land, you get experience in something, you do a lot less false steps. And what I mean by false steps is a lot of time that's wasted about thinking about doing this or that. You already kind of know what you want to do and what this is and what's that. Great restaurants. Amp sent me to a great restaurant. That was the Heart 8 was outstanding. Just a very good time. And I got a chance to experience, for my first time in Dallas, a historical game. A game that's going to go down regardless of what, just because it was a tie, but it's going to go down as one of the better Sunday night football games that Sunday night has had. A game that had last-second drives, a game that had last-second plays, a game that had long drives, exciting plays. And even in the defensive end, it did have some plays in the defensive end. I think sometimes we look at as it said, was no defense being played, but in some cases it was just real good offense. And teams were, and these coordinators were taking their time and staying to their game plan, and that pays dividends when you're playing those type of games, when you get in a rhythm. This one that come on here today, and there's a lot of narratives that gets built when you come out of game. When after every game, there's a lot of different narratives that are set up after every game. And I'm trying to see why my numbers are not going up. I have no idea why my numbers are not going up. Let me know if your reception of the show is good, or do I have to come out of this live stream and go into another one, because my numbers should be higher than that. I don't know what's going on now. Now I thought it was my numbers should be higher than that. don't know what's going on now. Oh, I'm sorry for having y'all in there, but yeah, my numbers are not high at all. So hopefully this live stream lasts because my number, um, my quality of recording, uploading on Riverside is really slow right now. But getting back to what the show was about. Um, this show is about narratives. Um, I know a lot of people say when they come in on a game, they say after every game, there's a lot of narratives are built, and narratives is the storylines that people try to build for after a game, and sometimes the storylines of why things are doing good or why things are going bad or what you need to do or who's doing work bad or whatever. And there's levels to the narrative. You have a first view narrative as when you watch the game, and then after the game you give your thoughts about it, and then because you're watching the game, and then you have time that the rest on it, and then you get up the next day and whoever has the all 22, like I do and some other people do, you get a chance to sleep on it, and then you may watch the all 22 to build another narrative. The people in the media build a narrative right after the game, and then they build it, they get another thing, they think about it, and they build another narrative when they come to Sunday morning. And then Tuesday, there's another narrative because you done had some interviews to be taken and you done got some input from some of the players or some of the coaches. So now you build another narrative. And those narratives and storylines you build in is how a lot of the fan base pull in and says, this is how the game should have went, or how the game went. This is who was at fault. This who didn't play well. This who didn't play well. This who did play well. And you building that narrative of opinions. And I had a narrative. If you watch my channel, I did a live in Dallas late that night at the hotel on my phone, telling a narrative about what I felt about the football game, about how I felt about the game, and how I felt about the how the game went. And the reason why I came out with a narrative out there because I saw the game live. And yes, I was in a good view to watch the game live, and then I was able to watch the game live, and then I was able to watch on the big jumbotron every time I had a replay. In my eyes of watching football, as my background with coaching and everything, I can watch a game in a whole different manner than a lot of other people can. I can watch a game to really diagnose on first view of what I'm seeing. A lot of stuff that I was seeing when the initial play went through, when the replay came, that we was on the jumbotron, they pointed out exactly what I was thinking. And it got to such a point that the people in the stands that was around me was like kind of looking at me when the play happened to say, what happened? And then when I say what happened, and then they see it on the jumbotron, they say, man, you right. With the replay. And there's some glaring problems in there. And I don't go back on nothing I said in my first view that night. And to recap what I said that night, I said that I was impressed by the defensive line play. Yes, I mean, it was not perfect, but I was impressed. It was not, yes, they gave up some runs here and there, but for the most part, they contained the run. And for the most part, they did get pressure, but they didn't get sacks. For the most part. And the offense that Green Bay ran limited our pressures to the quarterback, which was smart because they had some offensive line injuries. I also said I was very impressed by the receivers and all the receivers that played a part. And Dak Prescott, and I also was impressed by the offensive line. Yes, when you watch film, yeah, they had some almost near sacks and some guys that got. Tyler Smith did not have a real good game. And maybe the reason why he didn't have a good game is because he got a little banged up injury. And I don't know what the injury is, but he may not play this week. So that might have slowed him down. But he did not have a good game. But collectively, they had an okay game. And I always say this about offensive line play. It's not about one person having a great game on the offensive line. You can have collectively a good game by the offensive line because it's collective effort. I always say this about the Great Wall, when they had the Great Wall. The Great Wall didn't have a bunch of first-round draft picks and All-Americans. I mean, first-round draft picks and All-Pros. But together, they were unstoppable. So collectively, when you look at the run game and you look at the passing game, Dak worked with the offensive line, getting the ball out your hand faster. The offensive line they called a lot of play action passes with aggressive play action pass blocking, which slowed the Green Bay down. That slowed their feet down. And I don't think people understand that when I say that. When you are committed to the run game and you run aggressive play action passes, you just can't just run off the ball as a defensive lineman. It slows your feet down, and that slowing your feet down gives that quarterback that extra second or two to get the ball off, even if you get beat. So a lot of that was good. And then I see the question about, then I went on to defense. And I'll touch on Pickens again, but I went on to defense. And I was very displeased. I talked about the defensive line. My judgment of the linebackers is not as harsh as everybody else's judgment of the linebackers. Yes, I think I think Sandberg has his limitations with athleticism. But he does do some good things on the field. And none of his plays that he misses because of effort. Yes, you may have to take him out on certain packages. But when we talk about linebackers pass coverage, all linebackers giving up over 70% of completion rate. Because most of it, 99.9% of the time they play in zone. And if the play is right, the timing is right on that, they're not going to cover the... And it kills me when people be like, coverage of a linebacker. Linebacker's first job is run. If he plays run good, we can do sub packages for him. But it's not covering the pass. And don't give me this because this new NFL, it still ain't. If you're looking for a linebacker to play pass coverage first, go back to what you had before. Put a safety up there, and then you'll be happy with it. But you can't have both. So, but my defensive backs, I am totally displeased. And my content creators. And I wish I was skilled at putting film together. I'm still ain't skilled. I'm working. It's a work in progress. It's not that I had to look at it. It's about viewing it on the screen with you. But somebody has got to say that it's unacceptable 1 through 4. And maybe 5. The only person I give a pass is number 27. Because he's young and I try to see him doing what he's trying to do. But he's got bad leadership. And he's going to turn just like the bad leadership. I said in the game when I was watching the game, after I was going crazy all during the second half of pointing out how our corners and safeties, not being aggressive, rallying to the football, was helping Green Bay get yards after yards. You can see it on the field that they don't attack the football. I got to see it live. Then I saw it on replay. And then I got home yesterday and went through all 22. It's there. And then I researched a little bit more because I said in the stands that the only thing that Love is throwing is screen passes and short swing passes. And I couldn't count it up. But then I found the thing that said he completed 20. Listen, let me put it like this. His completion percentage of the game was 43 passes, 31 completions. Okay? Do you remember in the first drive, he threw a ball down the field for 45 yards to two wide open guys. Somebody, they let him go. That's one pass. He threw for a little bit over 300-some yards. Okay? 31 for 43. In this game against the Cowboys, he completed 28 out of 28 passes under 6 yards, under 10 yards. The ball went in the air 10 yards, less than 10 yards. 28 out of 28. So out of his 31 completions, only 3 came over. The ball was over 10 yards in the air. And we saw in the first drive, the 45 yards. So the rest of the game, he didn't throw a pass that was completed over 10 yards. Number 2 times, 2 more passes. And when a quarterback is throwing the ball less than 10 yards in the air, he's going to complete those. But how he get all these yards? Because he got yak. And how you get yak? Because this is the third quarterback that has completed over 80 or 90% of his passes under 10 yards. This is the third quarterback that threw a screen pass, that broke 30, 40 yards. A couple of them. Because the scouting report on the Cowboys is throw the ball short, they're not going to tackle. I said that in the stands in the game until the people in the stands started to believe what I was saying. I started calling that they're going to go right back to a screen pass, back to a bubble screen, back to a little side pass, because they're not going to tackle. And every time he looked to go down the field, we got pressure. And then he scrambled. And he found out we weren't going to hit him anyway. They hit him with that. Do y'all remember the scramble play when Diggs ran across the field man to man? And I'm watching the game. And then I watched a jumbo jar. He seen the quarterback running. And he turned and ran with the wide receiver. And then when he looked at the quarterback, he ran side by side the quarterback and didn't attack the quarterback. Till Love got another 10 yards down the field. Did put him in field goal range. I'm going to say this again. And I love quoting great coaches. And I think the art of coaching and Bill Belichick and Nick Saban, I think they qualify for some of the greatest of all time in both leagues. And both of them cut their feet and coming up as defensive back people. And both of them said on the art of coaching, the first thing they look for in a cornerback is he can tackle. Because if he can't tackle, he's going to hurt you more than anything he can guard, because he's going to give up yards. He's going to compromise your defense, and they're going to attack him, and you ain't got to worry about nobody catching the ball. And then I heard somebody say, when I was up there saying he ain't tackling, well, Deion ain't tackling. That's a damn lie. Deion didn't run away from the ball, and his speed attacked the football, because he understood if he attacked the football, it's going to be better. And in his later years, when he was at Baltimore, he tackled really well. But I think people want to talk about Diggs. Elam is just as bad. Bland came back and he did a little tackling, but he's a little rusty in his coverage. But they don't run. Listen, they don't run screens. They don't run. They ran anything that they threw short. All their screen passes was at either at Elam or Diggs. They did not do it against Bland. Teams got it down to a science. Check the call off and watch the film. And it's two things I always say about defense. When you watch film, and I know a lot of y'all out there watch film, whatever. The first time you watch the film, you watch for effort and want to. Then you rewind and then you start watching for scheme, technique, and execution. But your first general is effort and want to. Because if the effort ain't want to ain't there, all that other stuff you talking about watching is null and void. And bad effort on 5 plays and making one good play will have you out the playoffs or not even in the playoffs. Looking for splash plays that woo the crowd and not consistently being a football player, I don't want you. Now, I might get in trouble with that, but it's going to be more that you're going to cause damage to younger players that may be good. Then you're going to be able to do it, because then you're going to make mistakes on the field, and then what I'm going to say. If I live with you in covering, and then when you make a mistake in covering, and then you start making the other stuff, what can I say to other players now? And who they emulate? Malik Hooker and the two safeties, I was on them last couple of weeks, and I'm not getting off. They're the worst tackling safeties that I've seen, and I watch football. We're watching the game at the Texas Live, the two guys I was with, and I was mentioning we was watching the Eagles and the Buccaneers. And I was mentioning this guy that was there when he was talking about our team, and I was talking about our safety play. And I was talking about then, and I kept saying, they're not aggressive enough. They don't attack. They're not trying to make tackles. And then we were watching the game, and I said, let's look at the Eagles safeties. I said, let me explain what I was saying. And I was telling the guy. And the Eagles was in cover 2. And they had that big old screen where you could see everything. And I said, watch Eagles, their safeties, when they see run, watch what they do. They come from 12 yards back to 6, 7 in a heartbeat. And they rotate over with the corners or whatever to make sure, but they coming They ain't playing around. They see run, they coming up be run support. They want you to push it, and they going to attack. That's how they work well with linebackers. See, that's why I say football is one of the greatest team sports in history. And it all works together. You feel on the front end with the lineman. Linebacker straight and plug. But when they fill in, right, and they catch that, who's the next level to come in and plug? The safeties and corners. But when one level do something and the other level is missing, you get big plays. And he said, yeah, I see that. And I said, okay, I don't know where that guy was, but I said, when you go over to the Cowboy game, I want you to watch our safeties when you get that game and watch and see if we do that. He said, hey, man, I sure enough will. And if he did that, if I walked into him now, he'd say, you damn right, Coach, we don't do that. No. We start off at 12. It's an obvious run. The running back to hand the ball off. Our safeties are backpedaling 2 more, 3 more yards, and then they lollygag. If they even come up, and they let receivers come across the field and block them. I can't make this up, man. And when they do come up, the running back breaks a little. They break down 5 yards away from the running back and let the running back. And every time they make a tackle, they're getting run over or getting knocked back. And Hooker, Malik Hooker throws that same shoulder into the ground like these do. Diving down, bending his head. I'm telling you, man, it's all over. And we talk about other things. But that right there is more glaring than anybody y'all talk about going getting. See, we as fans talk about physicality. And we talk about we want to have physical teams. Even the guys that's been on fans and that's in this that have played football, we understand how that dog mentality goes. Because if you buck up to say you soft, I don't care how fast you are. I don't care how skilled you are. We finna get into your. And we allow that and brush it off. And then we think go and get other people gonna correct it. Yes, our voice matters. And if we start calling a spade, it may matter and resonate. But we let guys turn the tackles down. Man, Elam, he ain't tackling, and then he giving up costly passes because he ain't being aggressive. Listen, man, if you ain't aggressive in the run game, I can't expect you to be aggressive in the passing game. These guys, I think 1 or 2 holding calls. And I said in the game, when he hit that receiver on that screen pass and he came in with that big hit, I said, everybody going to forget the rest of the game. And they're going to say, oh, man, Diggs tackling better. Bullshit. Our offensive line's not a bad offensive line. Ain't no way in hell. I don't even know way. There's no way that your quarterback has your numbers and your running back has the numbers he has, and we got bad offensive line. We got one of the deepest offensive line. See, that's what this thing is called with narratives. We gotta look at it. See, this is the thing, and that's what the tape tells a different story when we talk about offensive line play. And I'll give you something else. And we talk about narratives. They say Michael Parsons was the best player on the field, PFF. That should tell you the PFF judges on the curve based off the stardom of a player. That's just somebody up there judging, writing checks and balances, and 98% of them ain't football people. And they know who they're judging. And do you know they're going to get a benefit of the doubt on certain people? Come on, man. You don't have a quarterback throws that ball that many times, have them numbers, and have a consistent number one offense without having a good offensive line. That's impossible. But we let us talk about it. We expect our offense don't line up supposed to miss a block. But I can see why Elam, and I do believe what the person just said about the trickle down effect. And I don't believe it's offensive line. I believe that we got receivers that don't go out and block. So our defensive backs don't know how to get off blocks. Not even turn down tackles. Getting off of blocks is pathetic. Now, let me tell you what I mean by rally to the ball. You have a defensive backfield that's like piranha. They see the ball, they rallying around that ball like I-95. You can't block them, and they're getting to that ball, and they're coming like piranha. They're going to sting you when they get there. And you start to see guys catch the ball and try to find some places to get on the ground because they know you coming. Not with our defense backs. We waiting on somebody else to make the tackle, and we'll come up there and stay. It's all on film, man. And I don't see how we sit there and watched it and didn't call it out. Because it's very important to the framework of a team. You know how many extra yards we give up because we're not making tackles that stop them there, or we sit and wait, break it down 5 yards off the guy and let the guy get a head of steam and run up through us 5 yards, or we go out there and duck down on anybody, and the first thing we got a receiver out there, and we diving at the band legs. Man, listen, man. And I'm going to say this. And I always say this. And I'm going to say it again because, I say things 3-4 times because it's the truth. When you judge the physicality of a defense, you know who it's three. Oh, let's put it like this. There's 3 units that set the tone on the football team. And this is how we're going to work with it. Anybody in the chat, let me get this stuff together. All right? Y'all in the chat. Now, hey, if y'all want to sit, now I still don't know how to do the super chats. I can read them after it's all over with. But if there is some things down there, it's not super chat, but you can support the chat, the channel with support, buying the support things to support the channel, or you can cash out to support the channel, man, to keep the channel going, because I definitely look like I'm gonna need some equipment because this computer is acting crazy. But I'm finna ask a question, and people in the chat, what 3 units? Okay, I'll calm it down. Okay, I'll calm it down. I'm excited, but I'll calm it down. Let me know if that's better. Okay, what 3 units on the football team? What 3 groups you think set the tone for a team? Like the linemen, they go offense and defensive linemen, linebackers, receivers, defensive backs, quarterbacks, running backs. What would y'all say was the 3 units that really set the tone for a unit, for a defense, their tone and their mentality? Anybody got any guess? Well, let me tell you what on a football team, what's the 3 units that set the tone? It's the offensive lineman, because they set a tone of physicality and they have to work so well together for things to work. And they're usually a close-knit group. They don't get no credit when things going well, and they get all the blame when things are going bad. But they really are the lunch pail people. And a lot of the team look up to them because how they carry themselves and how they grind them certain things. The second group that carries that mantra is right. The defensive line, the two line positions. Because the defensive line have to play well together. I saw Clowney cut a blocker off and sacrifice himself so Clark could make a play. He cut the trap guy off, and then Clark made the play in the backfield. That's a perfect example of playing together. And the last one is the secondary. And the last one is the secondary, because the secondary, if you want to judge the how physical a defensive team is, look how physical this secondary is. I always say the secondary guys are always say this is the truth. I don't bite my tongue with this. Cornerbacks and safeties are the best athletes on the field. Cornerbacks and safeties are the best athletes on the field. And I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback from damn people talking about wide receivers. No. Cornerbacks got to be agile and just as fast as wide receivers. They got to be so sure-footed that they can't fall. Every defensive back is taught that you can't fall. It's like you're on a tightrope at the circus, and the ground is 400 feet away, and you can't fall. That's why defensive backs are the best, and they got to play a physical opponent, and they don't know where the receiver's going to go. Now, they can position themselves to be able to force you to go certain ways by staying over top, staying underneath, or the trick. They can do that, but they don't know the play. And they have to be reactionary, and then they got to have a physical component to take on blocks and get rid of blocks. And that's not always by receivers. They got to have a physical, and when they come to the game and they are knocking people out and making hard tackles and walking with that cockiness because you can't run on that side, and if you allow them to come, they're gonna put a hit on you. It sets the tone for the whole defense. Everybody in the stands see it. And when they start hitting, everybody talks about, oh, they're hitting out there today. And most times it's the defensive backs. They got to be tackles because most times they're on all the special teams where they got to run down on and out, they run down and make tackles in the open field. They're the last line of defense on your defense. They got to bring the ass to get ass. They got to bring the wood. They got to bring the mentality. And when your defensive backs are soft and not aggressive and not attacking the football, your defense fails. That's the way. What did I tell you? The 3 reasons why teams give up big plays a lot. You want to go over the 3 reasons again? It's only 3 reasons. And we gave up a lot of big plays in this game. Alignment or assignment. The first one was assignment. Wasn't the alignment, we just blew the assignment. Discipline in alignment and assignment, that's number 1. It could be the reason. It could be one of the reasons. That ain't not in no order, but it could be one of the reasons. It is one of the reasons, but it could be if you're giving up a lot of big plays. The second one was, I said, physicality and effort. And most of the big plays that came up on Sunday night was physicality and effort. If you're not physical to make tackles when you're supposed to make tackles and the effort ain't there, people get out the gate. And the third one was athleticism. I don't think we still athletic, but we don't compensate they're not being athletic by being bangers. And it shows on film, man. And if we think we can get through this game, listen, man, I'm going to say this again. If you think that you could get through football and be soft and win, then the only way I see that happen is on fantasy football league that somebody playing in, or on John Madden PlayStation. But in real life football, in real competition with real good teams like the NFL, hell no. Because teams are going to do what the teams we did for the last, these teams are going to start. I guarantee you, if you get the scouting report for any team that playing us, I guarantee you is to tell you that we're not physical on the back end and we're not willing tacklers. We can stop block them. They'll wait for you to get to another block. They'll wait for you to get off and get the double team and get down the field and block. Only thing you got to do is resist them. They ain't going to try to fight you off. They do not get off blocks, and they're not eager to get to the football. They'll give up yards because they don't want to attack it. They'll start off the game maybe a couple of times. You see them to start off. They'll start off with that 1 or 2, and then after a while, you see Malik Hooker has a good tendency of always coming up to the line of scrimmage after the play is already done. But I don't ever see him come up there and be the guy to de-initiate the trouble. See, that reminds me of a guy that come up, he always barking, and he always come up after everybody else done fought. He always bringing up the rear, but he's standing there, but he always come after everybody, all the damage is done. But he ain't initiating that. And Donovan Wilson came in this league as a thumper. I don't know if injuries done took away from him, but I know it's probably taken away from him. Like I said on Twitter, after the game with Chicago, when I showed, and I'm gonna try to pull that up on Twitter and show y'all. Maybe y'all can see what I was seeing on that. When I said in that Twitter post, when I reposted that play on that screen pass in, where the running back ran all the way down the field on another big play, I point out the numbers and say there ain't no effort. You could see on the field there wasn't no effort. Everybody waiting for the other guy to tackle the guy, running with guys blocking them. And listen, man, if guys out there play defensive back, they understand this. It's a misjustice when these, and I'm gonna tell you how the defensive back. And I'm not talking bad about receivers, but you could tell I had a background coaching more defense than offense. But defensive backs can't stand wide receivers talking about they can block them. Because defensive backs already feel that they're the best guys on the field. So when that happens, and if you're a former defensive back, and you watch it on film, it happens, and you don't say nothing, and you act like that's all right, and you don't understand that that's a major problem. You don't understand how many yards get, because again, I said the defensive backs set the tone with the swag, the athleticism, and the physicality. If they bring it, listen, I've had teams that I've coached where defensive back safeties and corners have gotten in the butts, in the ass of some defensive linemen and got them to play better. Well, I ain't never seen no defensive lineman go back there in that secondary and tell the secondary guy what to do. Because he can't imagine doing none of that. That's how major they are, man. And we got a very bad problem because it's a cancer in that room. I don't know if it's Diggs, probably, maybe, because they done converted Donovan Wilson into a softie. Bland came in this league as a knockout tackler. We starting to see him waver a little bit. If you allow guys back there that's got a soft mentality and you put them in leadership positions and say that they're the leaders, after a while, guys you drafted, they're supposed to be physical, going to be playing the same way. That just, hey, man, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm for real. And anybody who plays football know that too. Let me see if I can share something with you. God, hey, be patient with me. Be patient with me. Boy, we got a lot of injuries, man. Y'all, now I'm finna share a screen with you. We're gonna look at some Twitter stuff, man. The injury lineup is really lying. We're the ones this game. We've been fortunate in the last couple of games, people, that we have been the ones that didn't have as many injuries as the other teams. But now it's a football. This is football. This is how it goes, man, in football. We got the injury thing is really lined up on here, football wise, for us to have a lot of injuries. We got a lot of injuries right now. So that's how it goes, man. You got to play. That's why it takes 90 guys to have a roster, to get a roster to the finish line. It takes everybody. And it's never, if you think you're going to go through a season and you just going to have your front line people, it's the only people you could count on, then you're living in what we call a PlayStation in a fantasy football world of 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 thinking things are gonna be just your way. That's not gonna happen. And now I'm moving on to something else. I hope y'all can see when I move on to it. I think it's letting y'all see it. Why when I know there's a delay. That's why I need y'all to support the channel with whatever support you can send. Coach Marv needs to go out and get some equipment that's gonna be better, man. But I'm scrolling down here. This was a graphic that I found, and it was about Jordan Love's stats for game 4, week 4. And it said Jordan Love, it said Jordan Love was 28 for 28 with passes under 10 air yards in this week, right? In week 4 against the Cowboys, right? 6 more than any other quarterback without an incompletion since 2016. And look at all the red, look at all the green dots of completed passes. The blue line is the line of scrimmage is the blue line across. Look at all the passes that he completed. Now the ones that it was touchdowns, but look at all the green dots, and most of them behind the line of scrimmage. So tell me what pass rush is going to do with this. Pass rush ain't going to help you with this. You can't even defend this. You got to let them catch the ball and then rally, and these passes behind the line of scrimmage, you got to hold them like 3 to 4 yards. And you'll make them now have to push the ball deeper, and then now you can start trying to get to the quarterback. What does this tell you about what they were trying to attack the Cowboys with? They're telling you that they felt you couldn't tackle them. So if anybody tell me the game plan, that wasn't the game plan, you got to be crazy. I've been in football. We know when you play teams that could tackle, only thing you want to do is get the ball out of space and say, hey, we're gonna get big plays because they don't tackle well. Jalen Hurts had the same stats. Williams, the quarterback from Chicago, only completed like 16, 17 passes. Try the ball deep. If you can't get deep, drop it off short passes and let the guys work. We can't get none of the run. The run game, the Cowboys are choking the run game down. Yes, they got over 100, but they had 30 carries. But we really kept the run game in check. But the thing is, attack the defensive backs because they don't want to tackle. And that's somebody going to say, well, that's the linebackers too. No, listen, man. They're not attacking. One game, Murray was killing people in the tackling. But you know what they do? Know what they do? If I'm a coach, I'm going to say, hey, we're going to advise to make sure we get a piece of Murray. We get a piece of Sanborn. We get a piece of linebackers. Because the other guys back there ain't going to rally. We can run by them. Because they're not going to replace them. They're going to sit back and wait. That's crazy. Most of the passes are behind the line of scrimmage. And we talking about pass rush. Pass rush for what? You listen, man. If we don't get that back in some physicality, where they out there knocking people out and attacking the football and force people in so we can devise blitzes and we can get to the quarterback and we can advise the people to hunt and not let them play a game of drop it off and run for 15, 20 yards. Because that's what the plan is. Drop the ball off, run for 20. And this is what I said. I'm waiting for it to roll down till y'all get it. This is what I said. And y'all have it in y'all view in a few short seconds. Okay, this is what I said. I said, Cowboy Nation, please listen to me on this. The stats below have been like this for the three quarterbacks we have faced. While we are talking about pass rush and linebacker play, we don't see the true problem with this defense. Green Bay showed us what team's game plan is against us. Try some big passes down the field, but live off short swing passes, screen passes, and get big plays on us. Yeah, they're going to live off them and still get big plays. Because our cornerbacks and safeties don't attack. Here we go. They don't attack the football. They don't fly. They don't get off blocks because they don't want to get off blocks. That's true. They don't want to tackle. And then in parentheses, no willingness to come to the fight. How can we watch film and don't see this passive soft ass play by all, let me say that again, all of the secondary, and don't say nothing? I seen it live, and then I watched it on tape week after week. This is what I say about watching film. I have no problem watching film. But first, you watch film first to see effort and want to. Then you start judging skill and scheme. It's the truth, people. When I talked about the safeties 2 weeks ago, I said the same thing. And then I start seeing it in the corners. And it's all through the secondary. And I hope I can get back to this post. Let me swing through. because I did a post. Oh, I would love to have that guy. Oh, here it is. 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 Y'all be with me, and I'm swinging down now, and I'm going to come to this. That they showed the screenplay when the game was 14-14 against Chicago. We had got the two big plays. We had gotten back in the game after they got the two big plays. Now I want you to watch this screen pass, y'all, that's out there watching with me. And look at the effort in our defensive backfield. Tell me anybody was looking like they wanted to go and make that tackle. Ball comes out, pull up. 18 does it. 28, let somebody knock him on the Wilson just running beside that guy. Diggs ain't never come up. He running that air. The only person running at the guy, it was Sam Williams, a lineman. Look at this. Who come towards the ball? Look at Diggs. Diggs turned around. Watch this. This Chicago. And we say nothing. We let it pass. And this is the same stuff you get every week. Guys waiting on somebody just to fall on people. Nobody going to hit a guy. The game was 14-14. The game wasn't out of reach. We get back after those big plays, and this is what we do. And this is what I say. Look what I said in this. I wait for I scrolled up. I'm gonna scroll up for y'all to see. Because I hope I don't get no copyright infringement on this, because I'm just showing what somebody else showed. This is our defense. That's how our back end attack. Look how we let guys block us down the field. All the way down the field, we got people blocking us. Defensive backs, listen here. If you got a guy that's still blocking you way down the field, you got to be kidding me. And this is what I said. Cowboy Nation, just look at number 18. Oh, look at number 18 on that play. His first look at, that's why he don't play no more. That's why he ain't no TikToks. There's no excuse for that. Look at 28. He just let somebody just push him on the ground. Look at 7, turning his back. Look at Donovan Wilson just running beside the guy. Look at the other corner on the other side of the field. Number 14 still blocking him down the field. And we talk about, in 59, he pulls up. The only person hustling is Sam Williams, trying to run and tackle a guy. And we talk about other problems. This is the problem. And when you watch film, you see it over and over again. Because it don't, because we let it pass. Talk about getting somebody else. But we should not let it pass. We don't need to be throwing them out the door, but we need to call a spade a spade. And if it look punkish, we need to call it to the floor. It's bad, man. And that's the same thing that I saw. Similar to that with Elam. That's the same stuff I see, man. I see that stuff with Elam is worse. We go to this game, man. You can't tell me this here. And he says this, but just like we listen, I have no problem for the full course press that we're putting to get upgrade. I would love, if you were talking about a running back, I said this at the game, and I said this after the game to a friend of mine. I said, when I saw the Titans lose, I say Pollard would be a great person to come back in this locker room because Pollard, I know, is tough. Pollard can run that doggone football. You put him against this offensive line, how they block, he would be, and he understands by being a 1-2 punch. He's not selfish that he don't need it, and he's going to make some big plays for you. And he can block. I have no problem going to get him back. And he already know the lay of the land. Less time to get him acclimated to the lay of the land. He should have never got out of here. I have no problem doing that. But all this other stuff we talk about, this crazy stuff, yes, we can get some guys here and there, right? But you can't change it all out. We got to call, and that's why I say I would rather have young players. But the young players, listen, I said I wanted Wanye Thomas, and I hate to say this. When Malik Hooker got hurt, I was like, man, that might be, I hate to say it, might be a blessing in disguise. But I don't like to see nobody get hurt. But Wanye come in and doing basically the same stuff. Because who he learn off of? If you got a guy starting over him that's doing that, when he come in, you think he's going to do something different. So if I got to call Eagles food to the mat, I'm going to call Eagles food to the mat and call players to the mat. I'm saying, hey, you say you want a physical team and tackling for the cornerback is a must. Did somebody miss your coaches, or somebody missed the memo, or they don't respect what you say? So when Carson and Butler and them come back, I want to see them on the field. And I want to see them on the field, and I want them to be told that this physicality is not allowed. And you need to bring another one to it. And if you bring another one to it, and we bring that physicality as attacking the ball and being willingness to come to the fight, man, this defense will be a much better defense. We will not have, listen, we'll make teams change their game plan, and now we allow our guys to get to the quarterback. I was very impressed with our rookie number 41. This young man is going to be a good football player, like they say. He was stronger on the run. He's getting better. I think we misjudged him too much as when he playing his first couple of games. Man, listen, and I hate to kill when people just go and be like, the guy just ain't ready. Man, all of us, our first games, we was horrible, and we got better. None of us stepped on the field and went on from day one was all world. But this is a problem. And that narrative has not been talked about. And if you want a defense, it first has to start with the willingness and the physicality to be able to rally and attack the football. I hear people talking about soft coverages. Listen here, when you don't rally and attack the football, when I see you don't do this in a short pass, and I see it on a constant basis, let me give y'all some coaching advice. There is no soft zones. It's basically how you're aggressive and your players play it. Their read and react is what makes the zone softer or softer. That's why I tell you watch other football games. You can watch other teams play the exact same zones. You be like, dog, they on top of it. They are more aggressive. Duh. That's why I say, man, y'all need to watch other football teams play and then compare what you see in their zest and flying and the hitting of their secondary, and then watch yours and then tell me what you see. Then tell me what you see. And know that it don't have to be a all-pro. But there's a cancer in this locker room. I don't know who it is, but there's a cancer in that back end. And everybody's acting like that person. See, they wanted CJ what name to come here. No. Because he would have called that out the day one. Anybody who come in here, there's a dog, there's a physical dog that like to attack the football will come in here and read this defensive backfield the ride act. They'll be wanting to fight him. I guarantee you. It's just we let it pass. You let somebody come in, a dog come in and look at this film and watch what I have seen over this. He'll come in like, what's this? You passing up tackles? Y'all run the sideline, get a swing pass, the cornerback out there and eat him. Did attack the football, let a guy halfway block him, and then had his arm stretched out and don't even touch the guy. Did Diggs come down, nobody block him, and act like he running inside and let the guy get outside, then he turned and started to run beside it. Man, I can't make this up, man. Then Wilson come from the back and did try to dive on the man back. I can't make this up, man. This is... If you see it one time, it's one time too many. I always said this, man. If you see a guy turn down a tackle, I ain't saying he getting run over. I ain't saying he ain't good. But when you see a guy turn down a tackle and you see him turn down 2 times, and you have seen it 3 times at least, he is what he is. And for me, he gonna hurt me more than anything good he can do for me. I ain't say he gotta be Jack Tatum, but he gotta be willing. Don't fall for these fake narratives about other things. Because the foundation is having unity and being physical and being there to provide strength as a unit to corral some of these big plays. And if that ain't there, you ain't gonna never do that. We begged about our offensive line and our tight ends to get physical. And I will say that this tight end group are blocking much, much better. That's why they're getting so much success in catching footballs. Span forward, Ferguson, and see, it's contagious. Even Tolbert last week, I mentioned 2 or 3 times in Tolbert blocking down the field where he stayed with a guy to get Williams the 2 or 3 extra yards. I pointed that out of the game. I wish I would have had a radio. I pointed that out in the game. And yes, when I went back and looked at film, yes, even Tolbert. Now, Pickens had some of his same things, not following through with blocks that could have sprained people. See, I'm not going to I'm going to care if Pickens caught for 200 yards. I haven't seen that before. I told you in my fantasy, I've been one time he caught for 236. I done seen that. I done seen him have great games. This ain't like it ain't happened before. And I'll see him come right back next game and not do nothing. So the part about Pickens is not being praising him like, and people talking about, oh, Jerry talking about giving him a contract. See all this? See, we praise people too fast. We put them on a Mount Rushmore too fast. What we should be doing for Pickens is say, good game. Could have made one more play, one more block, we might have won it. But good game. And that's it. He might be saying, well, dang. Yeah, great game. But every little thing he did wrong, I'll be pointing that out. We act like we got to boost him up to keep him up. Yeah, we got to keep him. But listen, man. Consistency is got Pickens the way he's at right now. He's not in Pittsburgh because he couldn't be flashy. He's been in Pittsburgh because he wouldn't do the little things on a consistent basis. And has he proved he can do that yet? One game do not make a career. One game don't show you consistent. Let's see you stack them. And then when you stack them and you keep stacking them, then it becomes a habit. And then you don't do bad games. You have less bad games and more good games. But when you up and down, your habit is being up and down. Last narrative that I want to shoot down out the sky. And I say I would never, well, two. I say I would never going to talk about this. Because I know how good Dak Prescott is. But this thing, every time Dak has a good game, you hear every time, oh, this is the best Dak they'll play in his career. That's a bunch of bullshit. You look at Dak's career stats, man. And we talking about this. We done seen this a lot. They had like Dak with 5-6 interceptions. He don't complete 70% of his passes in his career. They had like he's not his touchdown to the touchdown to interception rate is the top in the top 10% of career passes. They talk like come on, man. You don't put a years that he's been in this league and then say, oh, this is the best he ever played. That's a slight diss, man. And when Dak hear that, he be like, man, I always play like this. What y'all talking about, man? That's a diss, man. Anytime somebody you do something well all the time and they start giving you praise and say, man, that's one of the best things you ever done. That's a slight diss. That's they looking over everything else you come and act like you was garbage, and when you do good, it's a surprise. Ain't no damn surprise. You don't get $60 million a year because you surprisingly, and now in year 10 you start to play this way. Come on, man. Let's be realistic. That's why I don't even listen to that, man. Well, he playing better than he played when you run up an MVP? And then he had the same stats when he run up MVP. He had 2 years prior to that before he got hurt. Was he playing well when they went 9-1? Come on, man. Come on, man. You keep the number one defense. He done been a top 5 offense. Every year he played the whole season, they always been the top 5 offense. So he didn't play well then? Come on, man. Don't listen to that, man. Don't even fall in. That's why I don't even listen to that. That's another narrative that's crazy. But listen, man. I say I'm over hour, but I'm a little bit over hour. Like I said, we got 3 things, man. I love everybody who's in the chat, man. 3 things. It's on my bottom left-hand corner. Like, subscribe, and enjoy. If you want to support the channel, the Cash App is in the bottom left-hand corner under Coach Marv. Real talk. I gotta figure out how I can see y'all super chats on this live. I gotta go ahead and figure that out, man, because I need y'all to participate in the super chats because I want to see y'all comments out there and I want to get those things out because we're going to have more question and answer. The second thing is we're going to go on live tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do a watch party for the game. I don't know who's win the game. I don't know who's doing the watch party. I don't know who's playing tomorrow. I think it's the 49ers and the Rams. Very good game for us to watch. Rams are a very good team. They play the 49ers well. 2 coaches that know each other very well. 49ers, I would love to see 49ers play because they're a team that I like to see how they play because they don't worry about names. They worry about playing the specific football. And so we're going to watch them tomorrow. We're going to do a watch party with the 49ers and the Rams game on tomorrow. And we're going to watch football. We're going to compare some of the stuff we see with their team. And then we're going to look at some of the stuff I talked about today about the real narratives. And we're going to see how other teams play that's playing good football. And then we're going to say, do we see some of those same criteria? I'm going to show you how defensive backs supposed to rally to the football. And I'm going to show you how it looks better than we see on that screen pass. I'm going to show you other teams how they do it. And they ain't going to have name brand. And this is where we need to start pushing those narratives to our football team. But just not overlook them and let them do this, because whatever you bring in, the poo-poo is going to overwhelm any roses that you put in the garden. Let's clean up some of the poo-poo. Let's call that to the mat and test these guys' manhood, because I don't think they always been this way. But they're getting by with this because they know we're going to talk about something else. Yeah, we can talk about something else. We can talk about trades, talk about going there, but let's call this to the mat because it's there. Effort, physicality, and want to, it's there. So let's don't act like it's not there. And don't act like that ain't going to help us. And these guys are coming off injury reserve, these defensive backs. Listen here. None of these defensive backs we got there, job is safe. To me, and that's Diggs included. That's Diggs included. Because he don't cover good enough to have one part of his game missing. And I'm telling you, if I see it, these other NFL seeing teams see it too. And they're going to pay him accordingly to what they think. Listen, they know the word is out that he ain't. Tell them the word is out. And you don't want a guy that they can say he ain't going to rally. And he's not going to help his brother man. When his brother man feels something, he ain't going to look back and say, hey, when I force it to you, you bust it up. You force it to me, I'm going to bust it up. I force it to you and you still standing. You don't even force it to me. I got to do it both. And that's the mentality of this. So, and that's just not Diggs. Elam would have been sitting. Y'all talk about Booth, but at least I know Booth will fight. He coming to the fight. So, I want the old Donovan Wilson. Gain some weight back, Donovan. But one thing Donovan got a problem with, he's slow as hell. Both of them slow. Deal with you. Listen, I'm gonna say this, man, and this is the truth. You got a double whammy in your secondary. The reason why they try to stay so far on the ball so they can stop these bad, but because they're slower foot. And then when you slower foot and you're not aggressive in mindset, that makes it even worse. Because now you slower foot, so you getting back, trying to get back deeper because you can't run down balls. And then you slower reaction in the mental ready to come to the fight. So now you find yourself 10, 15 yards off the ball all the time, waiting to just jump and grab hold of somebody. I'm through ranting and raving, man. Thank y'all for sharing with me. Man, let's look at some of the people that's come in here, man. I want to just show you that I appreciate your comments. Hallelujah, man. That people think quarterback was Green Bay was a Super Bowl, and that's why Dak has plenty of comebacks under his belt. Plenty of comebacks. Great comment, man. Oh, shucks. Now my mic is better. Did y'all hear me the whole time? Oh no, that was just my mic just got muted. Okay. But yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, brother. Um, okay, yeah. But listen here. That's just like let me give you back my analogy about a boxer. You know, they look like Diggs and Wilson just looking for the big game hunting. They got that big game hunt trying to get a big play. You know, and big plays are good, but while you trying to be big play hunting, you just letting the little plays stack up bad. And you know, how many boxers, I talked about boxers just now. How many boxers y'all seen that lost big fights because they were just looking for knockout blows? When the whole fight try to get that one punch in, and then them losing so many rounds and so many points, then they lose the fight, don't ever get the knockout blow and lose the fight. But the same way in football. You can't big play hunt on defense. You got to do the little plays. Sometimes you got to sacrifice. Remember this word I put out here? I like to go back to the words I had, and I talked about this word to say for us to have a good season, this word was very important. You got to sacrifice if you're going to have a good football team. Just sacrifice. You got to give your body up for the next man. That's what Dak was talking about. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I got to see the on-field thing, you know, when Dak was talking to the team. And it looked like, and I hate to speculate this, but it looked like, because he kept pointing to one person to the next person, looked like he was saying, give it up for your fellow man. You don't know how that looks to the sideline, to our young cornerbacks, to our young defensive backs, when they see a guy coming at you and you dive at his shoelaces to try to tackle him. You know, example you said to everybody else. And we got to call that out, man. Because we want the Cowboys to win, we got to work. We call out Jerry them for everything they do. We call out the coaches for everything they do. I ain't say we got to fire guys. But as a fan, I don't accept softness. I don't accept that. Because I know in the biggest moments, that softness is going to reveal itself again, and we're going to come up short. Because the football guards are going to get it straight. And if these guys ain't got it in them to change, get their ass out of there. Go young. You're going to be better off in the end. And I mean this year. All right, people. Thank y'all, man, for this. I had a lot of stuff go wrong, man, but thank y'all, man, for the support. Thank you, Michael. I don't know how long my mic been out. May not been out that long, man, but man, thank y'all so much, man. Go back and if you don't follow me in Twitter, Anthony. Yeah, Anthony, man, all these man, that all y'all this here, man. I always gotta put my fan that always be with me on the screen. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you. Working, listening, you cooking, rewind. Yes, man. Thank you so much. I had a wonderful time in Dallas. Going to be back there soon, man. I already I already said, man, if I was going to try to find some type of way, if God bless me with some things that come through, I would love to be back up there for the San Diego game. I'm not saying it, but the Chargers, the LA Chargers game. I would love to be back up there for that one, man. And I may not even go get a ticket to go in the game. I may watch that game right over there at LA at Texas Live. But I want to be back in the Dallas because I just love that atmosphere. And this time I'll make sure if I came there, me and Boston will get together and do some things, man. And I don't want it to look like that we didn't get together. And I want to say this. I want to make it look like we did get together because it was just, I was in one name, we trying to busy. We were so far away from each other, trying to do things, man. And it was like, so I understand those type things. But, man, Boss put out some content doing that Saturday, doing the game, man. He works hard, man. And like I said, I really appreciate everything Boss has done to get me to where I'm at, man. So I don't want nobody to think that because we're going to hook up. And I'm going to be back in Dallas again very soon. And we're going to hook up and we're going to do something big because my channel's going to grow. And it's going to grow leaps and bounds. Same thing with Lou. Lou Takes do a great job. They're probably on right now, man. So when you go over there, if you go on there, when you find them and you go on with them today, make sure y'all tell them, say, I've been with Coach Marv. Now, they're going to come with some they may come up with a whole different method than I am. They're going to talk about, making some trades, making some moves. I understand that. Everybody's trying to put out a point of view for us for us to win. But it starts with the TikToker first. And I think it's in our secondary, we got a little problem with the TikToker. And the film ain't lying on this. It didn't lie in Chicago when I watched that. In a 14-14 game, when we gave up 2 big touchdowns and we had fought our way to get back in the game, and then to watch the defense on a screen pass like that, just give the effort that they gave to let a guy to run down the field, it should be. And we should have known that was still going to be there. Because we, as a fan base, should have ripped their ass to pieces when we saw that. Instead of trying to tear the coaches down, because coaches ain't got nothing about, listen, coaches ain't got nothing about when a player out there being his manhood being tested and he playing like that. And number 53 guys on this roster, man. And those guys, and everybody out there was a veteran. Everybody out there was a veteran. And we should have been on that 10 before we start talking about getting, and I'm not trying to talk about the better. Before we talk about getting a running back, before we talk about getting the defensive end, we should have addressed that shit first. Because that's going to keep coming back. And it's going to keep hurting us. And it did this past week. It did. Well, until the next time, man, I want to salute all y'all. I'm saluting y'all now because y'all are the, hey, man, y'all the bomb. Thank you for coming in and watching with Coach Marv, man. Thank you for giving me time again. The 3 things to do is on the here. Like it, subscribe it, share it. I should have that on there. And you're going to enjoy it. Always going to enjoy it. I enjoy you. And share it. Again, if you want to support the channel, there's a couple of ways with the supporting channel with a super chat or with I can't watch the super chats, but I will get to see them later. When I get off here, I can be able to see your super chat. But a super chat as well as a super sticker, you can do it on that way, or you can send support with the Cash App and support. We're going to get this channel growing. We're getting close to getting to 1,000 subscribers. We need to try to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this month. I need to try to see if I can get 300 subscribers in the next couple of weeks. But we're going to do this again tomorrow. I will go live with a watch party of the Thursday night football game. And we're going to talk football tomorrow. We're going to compare it to contrast. We got 2 really good football teams that are very good, sound football teams. We're going to compare and contrast. We're going to talk about tomorrow all the injuries we have and how we're going to be able to handle with injuries. I think we can if we bring the right mentality. This is a dogfight. This is not, we can't underestimate anybody. We 1-2-1. We're not no great team yet, but we got to find a way, any kind of way to scratch 2 victories out these next 2 games. Scratch them out, claw them out, any type of way, by any means necessary. Until the next time, man, thank y'all for being with me. Thank you for supporting the channel.